Okay, welcome back to the program. So I want to cover a bunch of different things tonight, today, whatever. President Trump went on Meet the Depressed, as I like to call it, with that Kristin Welker, that mean, wicked, wicked woman who obviously from ABC News, fact-checked him during the Harris debate and was just an absolute idiot. And of course, the other moron, I forget his name, David Muir, I guess his name or whatever. But anyway, so she sat down with President Trump, and to his credit, he talked and he answered all kinds of questions. It was a wide-ranging interview. If you want to watch the whole thing, it was pretty good. But here's the thing. I just want to point out two things that he said. One, great. One, not so good. Okay? So the first one, they're talking about deportation. And you can hear in Kristin Welker's voice, like the anger, the how dare you remove, criminal aliens that came here illegally from our country. She has this like holier than thou type of attitude. But anyway, let's play some of this and then we'll discuss it.
You're saying something, sir, that's significant. I just want to make sure I'm clear, which is that you're saying, yes, you're going to focus on the people with criminal histories, but everyone who's here illegally has to go.
I'm saying this. We have to get the criminals out of our country. We have to get people that were taken out of mental institutions and put them back into their mental institution, no matter what country it is. Do you know that Venezuela, their prisons are at the lowest point in terms of emptiness that they've ever been? They're taking their people out of those prisons by the thousands, and they're drunk. And just to get back, because I know exactly what you're getting at. Number one, we're doing criminals, and we're going to do them really rapidly. We're getting the worst gang probably with MS-13, and the Venezuelan gangs are the worst in the world. They're vicious, violent people. And you see what they've done in Colorado and other places. They're taking over, literally taking over apartment complexes and doing it with impunity. They don't care. They couldn't. They just are. They're in the real estate business.
The local police say that is not the case in Colorado.
Immediately she says, that's not true. The local police said that, blah, 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 blah. Well, the local police are liars that are embarrassed that their cities are being overrun with Venezuelan gang members because they're too pussy to do anything about it. Okay? So just like that one interview with that one old hag that finally retired, I can't remember her name, was talking to J.D. Vance at the time, and she goes, oh, it was just one apartment complex that was overtaken. Really? Just one? And what? That's okay? One is enough? How about zero? There shouldn't ever be any overtaken. But she immediately starts to pretend to, to care, and then she goes after and supports the criminals, right? She immediately goes to support the criminals.
Colorado.
Oh, it's totally the case. I mean,
you don't believe the local police.
I play it. I used to play it at my rallies every single night. No, they're breaking into doors. They're taking over the building.
But sir, you
and by the way,
the point.
The police are afraid to do anything.
You raised the point that the logistics are complicated. You said
sure
yourself,
but everything's complicated.
Yeah, you need 24 times more ICE detention capacity just to deport 1 million people per year, not to mention more agents, more judges, more planes. Is it realistic to deport everyone who's here illegally?
You have no choice. First of all, they're costing us a fortune. But we're starting with the criminals, and we got to do it. And then we're starting with others, and we're going to see how it goes.
Who are the others?
Others are other people outside of criminals. We have convicted murders. We don't mean people that are even on trial. We have people that have murdered numerous people are on our streets and in our farms, and we have to get them out of our country.
What about...
I would have flipped the script and I would have said to her, look, why are you defending these people? They are criminals. They are mass murderers. They are drug dealers. They are traffickers. They are all of the most horrific gang members, cartel members. They are the worst of the worst of the worst. Why do you want to fight against that? Why is it that you're sitting here arguing with me when I'm telling you that I want to make you and the rest of society safer? And you're sitting here saying, well, how are you going to do it? And how dare you try to pull these people out of the country? Like, whose side are you on? That's what I would have said. I would have turned it right on her. Now, this was something else. We'll get into Mike Johnson here in just a minute, but I think it's this one. Okay. This is infuriating, okay? I understand what President Trump was saying, but his words are not only dangerous and sloppy, but they are fuel to the fire of the globalists and the leftists. I'll explain in a second. This was him talking about Mexico and Canada in regards to subsidizing them because they're not paying their, quote, fair share, right? But it's what he says that, in my opinion, is quite dangerous. So here, listen.
You're subsidizing Canada to the tune of over $100 billion a year. We're subsidizing Mexico for almost $300 billion. We shouldn't be subsidizing. Why are we subsidizing these countries? If we're going to subsidize them, let them become a state. We're subsidizing Mexico, and we're subsidizing Canada, and we're subsidizing many countries all over the world. And all I want to do is I want to have a level, fast, but fair playing field. You're subsidized.
Okay. What he was basically saying here is, why are we subsidizing them? Why are we paying for them? Why are they not paying their fair share? Why are they not doing this? Why are they not doing that? Why do we have to take on all of the costs and they're not, right? That's what he was saying. So jokingly, he said, we should just take them as the 51st and 52nd states. Well, what's the problem with that type of talk? Have you ever heard of the North American Union? The North American Union is something that George W. Bush, another globalist shill, and at the time, I can't remember who was running Canada or Mexico, but anyway, the three countries wanted to combine and have a North American Union. They wanted to replace the dollar with something called the Amero. So the reason I don't like President Trump even joking about something like this is because now someone on the left that's a globalist is going to go, oh yeah, hey, maybe we ought to combine the United States of America, Mexico, and Canada under one big giant globalist government. Yeah, Trump's right. Maybe we ought to do that. That's the horrific thinking that the left has. And I don't want to put that out in the stratosphere, in the atmosphere. I don't want that to be in the ether, so to speak. So it is dangerous for him to say that. Now, I understand he was kind of joking about it. The fact is, he needs to understand, as the leader of the free world, what he says, everything that he says is not only going to be listened to, but it could be capitalized on, including something that he doesn't want capitalized on. So, Mr. President, please, no more talk like that. Okay, so the other thing was this. Mike Johnson, Big Johnson, right, the rhino, was talking to a woman who I absolutely detest. I can't stand her. I can't stand her voice. I can't stand her condescending, arrogant, attitude. And that is Martha McCallum from Fox News. I just hate her. Her and Shannon Breen and Brett Baer could all jump off of a bridge together holding hands without a net. All right? Seriously, I can't stand any of them. Anyway, she was talking to Mike Johnson. Mike Johnson is a total rhino. Mike Johnson likes to talk, to hear himself speak. Mike Johnson likes to tell you things that sound really, really good and conservative, but when it comes down to it, typically shits the bed. Okay? Hopefully not this time. Anyway, they were discussing DOGE, and they were talking about the cuts. And in particular, they were talking about the cuts that Javier Milei in Argentina has been able to accomplish, where everybody said that they couldn't do it. He's been able to do it. So then that transitions into DOGE, and they're talking about DOGE. So listen to this real quick.
Go, okay, we got a subcommittee. We got It's going to take a while, understandably. But, you look at the example in Argentina, Milei, there, the president, has cut 10% of the workforce. He has shuttered 13 government agencies. He's doing things that nobody thought was possible, that economists up and down said, you can't do that. You can't do that. And he's doing it. Musk wants to take government agencies from 428 to 99. Can it be done?
We certainly hope so. We want to be willing partners in that, and we have a new ability to do this now. Remember, the Supreme Court overturned the Chevron doctrine, right? That's a
Okay. What did he just say? He said what? He said the Chevron doctrine. This is something that I talked about over a year ago when I found out that the Supreme Court was going to take the case for Chevron versus Fisher Industries. I'm going by memory here. You'd have to look it up. I think I'm right, though. And anyway, as I've explained in the past, and the Supreme Court did the right thing, in the past, when there was a dispute against a government agency versus a private business or private entity, there was an unwritten rule or law, if you will, that in that argument, if it was kind of like a he said, she said, or whatever, they automatically allowed the government to decide it. That doesn't happen anymore, okay? So the Chevron doctrine is a big, big deal. And I talked about it about a year ago, and I said, hey, if the Chevron doctrine gets overturned, you may remember there was past shows that I've done, and I said, if that is overturned, it's going to change everything about how Washington works. And I also said in my speech a couple of weeks ago, the only reason that DOGE even has an inkling chance of being successful is because of the overturning of the Chevron doctrine. Speaker Johnson understands that as well. Listen, I'll back it up just to hear a bit. So listen.
99. Can it be done?
We certainly hope so. We want to be willing partners in that, and we have a new ability to do this now.
A new ability to do this now. That's what Mike Johnson just said.
Remember, the Supreme Court overturned the Chevron doctrine, right? That's a game-changing kind of situation. Not in my lifetime.
Yes.
We had the opportunity to go in and really take back control from the administrative state. For a long time, they've been acting as judge, jury, and executioner on the rules that they make on industries and small business owners and the rest. So we have the ingredients, we have the conditions right now to actually be able to make really dramatic change. And we're going to go through and have those discussions, those brainstorms to see. But you're going to have willing partners in the House and Senate among the Republican
But you're also going to have
Congress.
so many people who are pushing back.
Oh, of course,
who, my donors, my, the lobbyists that I promised things to, they're not going to go for that. And I won't get reelected if I let you cross that off on our list. So what are you going to do about that?
Well, you're going to have a president that's bold enough to do it. We have our own version of the Argentinian leader, right, with Donald Trump. And I've used the blowtorch analogy rather than a chainsaw, but it's all the same. We do have to scale back the size and scope of government. It serves the people. It unleashes the free market again. Our policy changes will be a part of that, but I think that if we can make some dramatic changes in downsizing the scale and scope of these things, we'll go a long way. And
so two specific examples, Planned Parenthood and PBS, are in congressional control. Are you planning to axe both of those?
I would like to, that's for sure.
Spending for both of those?
Yeah, we got to build consensus to have the votes to do that. Now, some of this will be done by executive order out of the White House.
Absolutely.
He has a broad authority to do a lot of that.
Yes.
But where Congress is involved, that's where it takes the hard work of legislating and getting everybody on the same page. So there'll be lots of ideas that come out. We don't want to put too many of it out right now, okay? But this is part of that, preparing the playbook to unleash and unroll in January. So.
Well, we know that something like 70% of those polled said they wanted significant change in the American government system, and it all falls on your shoulders.
Yeah, no pressure, right?
No pressure.
But that's what we want too.
But it doesn't. You're right. Like those two Supreme Court decisions are things that don't need to go through Congress. So there'll be baskets of areas of responsibility, and we look forward to watching it all. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Good.
So there it is. The Chevron doctrine makes DOGE possible, okay? Just repeat that and understand that. The Chevron doctrine being overturned allows DOGE to potentially be very, very successful because it eliminates the government's ability to stop disputes, where in the past, if there was a dispute, no judge would touch it. They would automatically side with the government. Therefore, private industry didn't have an equal playing field. That has changed, okay? And so the Chevron doctrine and the Raimondo decision, those two in particular, but really the Chevron doctrine, is what can make DOGE successful. And they said that they want to go from 493 agencies down to 99. If we did something like that, my goodness, would this country be incredible for the long term. I'd like to get less than 99. I don't think we need more than 5 or 6 agencies, to be quite frank. Maybe just the military agencies, right? That's about all we need. We don't need an EPA. We don't need a Department of Homeland Security. We don't need a Department of Education. We don't need a Department of Treasury. We don't need a Department of, Agriculture. We don't need a Department of the Interior. We don't need a Department of Defense. We don't need any of those things. We need a military. We need the Army, the Navy, the Marines, the Air Force, and Space Force, okay? And they can all work together, and we need a rebuilt FBI and CIA. That's it. We don't need anything else other than that. Everything else can be relegated back to the states where they know what's best for the people, okay? A child can be educated in Arkansas or Arizona or New Jersey completely different than the way Washington's one-size-fits-all would educate them, okay? They know what's best for their people in their states. And not every single person learns the exact same way. So this blanket education culminating in Washington, D.C., and then being browbeaten down from D.C. to the states, to the National Education Association, to the different other unions that are out there that, take what happens in Washington and tries to put it in all the different states. We don't need that anymore. Close them down. That's what needs to happen. So they want to go from 493 agencies down to 99. Of course, I welcome that. I would love to see that happen because I think it would be incredible. But of course, I'd like to go even further than that. Now, what was the other thing we were going to talk about? Okay, we covered that one already. And this one. Okay. So, Elena Haba has now become the chief counsel and senior advisor to the president. She is, for all intents and purposes, she's now in the position of what Steve Bannon was in the first term to President Trump, which was basically, the chief counsel and counselor and advisor to the President of the United States. I'm pleased to announce that Alina Habba will join my White House team as counselor to the President. Alina has been a tireless advocate for justice, a fierce defender of the rule of law, and an invaluable advisor to my campaign and my transition team. Since she has been unwavering in her loyalty and unmatched in her resolve, standing with me through numerous trials, battles, and countless days in court. Few understand the weaponization of the injustice system better than Alina. She has fought relentlessly against the full force of lawfare with courage and an unshakable commitment to justice. As a first-generation American of Middle Eastern heritage, she has become a role model for women in law and politics, most recently being named Chaldean Woman of the Year. So she's a Christian, obviously. Congratulations to Alina, her husband Greg, and her 3 beautiful children, Chloe, Luke, and Parker. So the left is already calling her the, quote, consigliere to the president, in the new mafia cabinet that they've been talking about and all this other garbage. But the bottom line is, she's going to be in the position that Steve Bannon was in the first term, and I think she's going to do a great job because she's aggressive, she's always been loyal, and she's going to be someone that's going to give him good advice. So congratulations to her and to President Trump for being intelligent enough to pick her. Now, I'm going to end tonight with this. I don't know for sure if this is going to happen. I hope and pray it does. Let me start with that first. Lara Trump has stepped down today. That's correct. From the RNC as co-chair, with speculation swirling around about her being appointed to the Florida Senate seat. Lara Trump will step down as co-chair of the Republican National Committee as she considers a number of potential options, with her father-in-law, President-elect Donald Trump, set to return to the White House. Among those possibilities is replacing Florida Senator Marco Rubio, whom Trump has tapped to be the next Secretary of State. After Rubio is confirmed, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis will then be able to choose who will take the seat through the remainder of Rubio's term, which expires in 2026. It is something that I would seriously consider, Lara told the Associated Press in an interview. If I'm being completely transparent here, I don't know exactly what that would look like, and I certainly want to get all of the information possible if that is something that is real for me. But yes, I would 100% consider it. Elected as RNC co-chair in March, Lara Trump was a key player in the Republicans retaking the White House and control of the Senate while maintaining a narrow House majority. What she does next could shape Republican politics given her elevated political profile and her ties to the incoming president. So, again, nothing has been done, nothing has been said officially, but why is she stepping down from the cush job in a winning situation? Let's face it, she and Michael Whatley, as co-chairs of the RNC, helped win this election to save America. So why would she be stepping down from that type of success? Only thing I can think of is there's something going on behind the scenes. Perhaps President Trump has had deep conversations with Ron DeSantis and said, hey, look, please put my daughter-in-law in the Senate. I don't know if it's going to happen, but I sure hope and pray that it does. Anyway, those are my thoughts. What are yours? Put them down in the comments below. See you in the next one.